Hello, I'm Emma Palmer. As part of the UC Women Lead program, I wanted to take a moment to present my vision board. So I utilized a template that spoke to me and adjusted some of the shape and the color theme to it. I really like more of like a calming blue purple kind of theme. And I loved the heart shape because I think creating a vision board and thinking about your future goals, things you aspire to, should come from the heart. So I also added a couple quotes that I think resonate really well with me. So the first one at the other end of the slide, if you will, is "I am enough." And I think that that's really important for us to remind ourselves a lot of times because I know I'm personally quite hard on myself and sometimes suffer from chronic guilt and not feeling like I do enough or have accomplished enough. So it's a reminder to tell myself that from an affirmation perspective, I am enough. The other quote is over here. This is "Not all who wander are lost." This is from Tolkien. And as someone who has recently looked into core values, core beliefs, experiences, knowledge, wisdom, exploration are really important values for me. And I think reminding yourself that sometimes that does require a little bit of wandering, but that doesn't mean that you've lost sight of your goal is really important. So kind of working from the bottom of the vision board up to the top. Bottom being the kind of more close goals, and then top being like continuous or pie in the sky 5, 10, 15, whatever years from now. So at the bottom, I have a brain and money. So mental health is really important to me. I'm a mental health care practitioner. So as a psychiatric pharmacist, I help people with their mental health almost every single day. And I think it's important for me to spend some time focusing on my own personal mental health, which I have been doing. I actually restarted therapy very recently. And my short-term goal is to really commit to taking care of my own personal mental health moving forward. And sometimes that might mean things like continuing with therapy, setting boundaries, checking in with myself. Money is, I feel like I put it as like a short-term goal, but that's probably a lifelong goal. I'm terrible with money. I don't love money. I think it's, a problematic thing in the world sometimes. But, just trying to learn how to be responsible with my money and, address financial changes in the world and just be comfortable with balancing all of that out. Now, the next row is kind of over the next several years to really focus on some important things in my life. The one furthest from me is like a little paint smears and stuff, and that is symbolic of creativity. So I think sometimes when we get wrapped up in the busyness of work and the sometimes redundancy of the tasks at hand, we sometimes lose that sense of wonder and creativity. So one thing that I want to keep working on is at least once a year doing something from either a teaching or practice or even like service scholarship perspective that is creative in nature. And I think it's really important to embrace that creativity. The next piece next to it is a bunch of animals. So I am an animal lover. I have tons of pets, and I want to kind of continue growing my relationship with the animals and the natural world around me. So I love my cats. I love my dog, love my lizards, love my chickens. I've got 6. And, just embracing that and, hopefully one day even having more pets and more, giving more back to the animal world. Next to that is this kind of picture of this kind of weird looking person, but sitting on books. One thing that I want to do is to carve out my own time, create protected time for myself to focus on some more writing and more specifically things like chapters and scholarly writing, because I do really enjoy writing, but based on how my workload pans out, how my life is panned out, I've really kind of had to put a lot of that joy of writing and joy of, sharing knowledge with others outside of just the institution that I work at on the back burner. So that's definitely something that I want to work on. Next to that is a little cute picture of two people with little hearts on their shirt. This is just relationship stuff. So I love my partner, and I've loved him for several years at this point. We have a wonderful family together, but continuing to work on strengthening that relationship, because I think sometimes when you shift your focus to work or to yourself, sometimes it's hard to keep that in mind, that there's other people in your life and your family to grow with and to forge those strong bonds. So certainly something I want to work on. The next row is definitely things that I hope to do in the next decade or so. And that includes, actually, we're going to start from my side. So up here, the little clock, and we'll go the other direction. So the clock is definitely symbolic of kind of taking back some of my free time. And, using that for things that are important to me as well. I sometimes fill my free time with tasks and chores, and if I don't, there's guilt. So back to I am enough. There's some guilt there, and I think that continuing to work through my mental health, my financial stability, etc., really ultimately trying to find a beautiful balance of downtime, time for things that I enjoy, time to find meaning in my work, time to experience flow. That's really important to me. Next to that is really the idea of getting promoted and moving up in my career. So career is definitely important to me, of course, as well. So as an associate professor, there's still space for movement up in terms of my career. So in the next several years, hoping to get further promoted, maybe even take on a bit more leadership type responsibilities. Next to that, really harkens to my love of experiencing other places and travel. Travel is something that for pleasure I don't get to do very much right now, probably coming back down to the dollar bills and probably also the animals. But ultimately, when my family has grown a bit more in terms of age and my time and my resources, I really do hope to explore the world to a greater degree. Next to that is basically an image of like a computer with check marks, and it's almost like an online assessment. I hope to shift some of my career focus, my work focus, to a space that I love that's even outside of mental health. So I love mental health, but I also love things like psychometrics, which actually is kind of adjacent to some degree to mental health. But I have grown a strong fondness for assessment, for understanding how to actually effectively teach and how to determine if you're effectively teaching. So a direction that, my career, my trajectory would personally feel comfortable going is focusing on student success, possibly through things like enhancing assessment, supporting faculty, and even potentially supporting students when it comes to developing robust, valid, repeatable, assessment techniques and exploring those options. Top of the line, I feel like are big, just like overarching themes and things that I anticipate will be a focus for the rest of my life. So going to the top furthest away from me, higher education is really important to me. I basically went to college and pretty much never left education. I hope to one day obtain even more education and possibly even master's, PhD, other types of programs to refine some of those skills, maybe hopefully even associated with my interest in assessment. Next to that are kind of a group of students working together. I really want my overarching theme is to really focus on helping people. with mental health, with academic success, with their ability to, become good role models, caring individuals. So I hope to be a faculty member that is there for my students, that is effective, that is kind, and someone that they trust to come to, and kind of shape the future of education, but also shape the future of pharmacists. Next to that is a nice little lotus flower with an individual in Sukhasana, or easy pose, as a recently graduated yoga instructor, but a fairly long practitioner. I hope that is not ever something that leaves my life. And I hope that as my life changes, it actually becomes an even more integral part of who I am. I think that the practice of yoga, of mindfulness, of connecting movement with breath, of the Ayurveda and the practices that are associated with yoga as almost like a lifestyle, but a complementary lifestyle. I hope to have that be an important and notable part of my life forever. And last but absolutely not least is watching my family change and grow and being the parent that I always wanted, I guess you could say. So particularly my daughter, being someone that she's able to look up to trust throughout her lifetime, and to be able to almost I guess, I don't want to say mimic or use as a true role model, but I think my overarching goal, in my home life is to be someone that is there for my family, but also there for myself. So not having to sacrifice who I am and what's important to me to serve just my family, but to be a part of that family and to demonstrate that myself as an individual, I'm enough, but I'm important enough to do things also for myself, right? So it's that balance of your kid's not your world, but you want to create the world for your kid, right? So I know I didn't delineate specific, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, but I think growing from the base of the heart up into the top really starts with focuses for shorter term, and just overarching pie in the sky things that I just want to be, whether it's truly objective or more of a thematic or hopeful outcome when it comes to my vision board. And I think that there's opportunities for leadership and growth and reflection in each and every one of these pieces of the puzzle that creates my vision board heart. I hope you enjoyed the presentation. I really am sad that I can't be physically present for this presentation, but I really do hope that this brought some interest and meaning to whoever watches it.